Good afternoon, pirates. My name is Arthur Govers, and I just want to talk about a very important aspect, another very important subject, and it is campaigning. And I have a specific proposal for a project around that. Good. First about myself, I joined the Pirate Party in 2013, and I campaigned in various elections, the Amsterdam municipal election, the EU election in Amsterdam, and then I moved to Antwerp, to Belgium, and I joined the campaign team there as well for the 2018 election, so that was this year. Besides that, I also do blogging and writing. I wrote for the Dutch Pirate Party and also my own blog about the Pirate Party, of course. So yeah, this is about those two combined. Campaigning problems. There appear to be some problems that reoccur, and I want to discuss those. The first is outdated material. Flyers, posters that are made for one specific election, they get outdated as soon as the election is over. So then often, well, the local parties, they are stuck with a lot of flyers, a lot of posters that are, well, basically worthless now because it says the date of that specific election, and then you can't reuse it anymore. And the second problem is also a little bit around the same topic. It's the distribution and organization part. So sometimes there is this idea, yeah, let's make posters, let's make flyers, and then they are printed, they are, put somewhere, and, well, they get trouble finding their way around. This here is a little Dutch flyer. It's a little cartoon. And my experience is that it has been reused over and over again. Why? Because it's not about one specific election. It's about general pirate topics. So it talks about wisdom of the crowd, open source software, and in a funny cartoon. And because there's no date of an election, it can be reused. And well, when there's some election and there has been a tough time, a rough time, we all know that some pirate parties are not in their upstream all the time, so sometimes there's a tough time, and they can reuse their old flyers anymore. So then, for instance, in the Netherlands, we went back to this one because it's a little bit generic. The third problem is that voters are unaware of our successes abroad. So this is something in the Netherlands, in Belgium, there has never been elected pirates, and oftentimes when people go on the street, go campaigning, voters just think, well, the Pirate Party, that must be some local geeky party, and why would I vote for that? So it's really in our best interest to make sure that the voters we reach out to know that there are parties in every single country in Europe and abroad and beyond, and that actually in some countries there's been successes and things have been accomplished, and it's good if the voters know about this. And then the fourth one is that there are actually very few cross-border initiatives, at least very few that I'm aware of. And that is also something that this project wants to change. The Pirate Times, I'm sure some of you, most of you, know about this. It's actually at this moment inaccessible, so it's a good thing that the internet has an archive and that we can look back to website with the Wayback Machine. So this is what it looked like. It's a nice website, and it tells a bit about what happens in Europe. What are topics that are important, and also results like the pirates on Iceland. And that it's a way to know what is happening in other parts of Europe and beyond. What is the proposal? The paper Pirate Times. That's right. So it's an informative newspaper about the European pirate parties to introduce English reading audiences to our ideas and the results the pirate parties have booked over the years. So it will consist of interviews, essays, statistics, maybe also cartoons, maybe just a fine newspaper that has an informative character. And this is also very important, that's why, we know this problem. And another important thing is that it's informative and reusable. So it's going to be something, information about the Pirate Party, and it will be also more fun to read to our voters, to the people we reach out to on the street, because it's not just vote for us. These are our main topics, but it's also, hey, learn something about this movement that you maybe have not heard yet about. So that's the aim. Going print. It's something that I've done before. This is a little newspaper for my family I made when I was a little child. This is a student initiative I made about the flat, student flat. I actually made sure that we got a first printed version, and then it relived as a quarterly magazine that's been running. So that's it. All right. So how will this work? Participation will be on a opt-in basis. So that means that whenever a local pirate party wants to join this project, that party has the option to opt in to this. Well, then contribution, that is about printing and about distribution. So like for editors, for like people that write stuff, it's on voluntary basis, but printing costs money. That's the big difference between online and offline, although online you need to pay also some things, but offline it's of course a lot more. And the idea is that the parties that join contribute on the basis of the amount of copies that they want to get delivered. So for instance, if one very big pirate party, let's say Czech Republic, wants, I don't know, 5,000 or 10,000 copies, then they pay more than somebody who just wants 500 copies. And on that way, everyone can, well, contribute. So what does a participating party need to submit? The amount of copies they want, a delivery address for, well, the papers themselves, and articles. That's optional, but it's like everyone. Content is sourced by the participants or by other pirates, but at least that's yeah. Though that's it's actually, yeah. Well, you can also submit articles. So it's the two of them. Do you want copies? Do you want to submit articles? A little timeline. By the way, I don't know why some things get lost. It's a very rough timeline. It's also to show that this is not going to be before the EU elections, but maybe a good aim is to write about the results of the elections. So yeah, the EU election results, to put that in a paper to show this was the last election, and this is where we're headed. This is what we've done. So on this rough timeline, it should be around June 2019 that yeah, we can actually deliver these boxes with newspapers. So the budget, just to have a very rough idea, I made a little calculation counting on 5 participating parties that each opt for 2,000 copies. So that means like we're going to go for 10,000 copies in this example. The printing cost would be 950, distribution cost would be 250. That means it will be 1,200 euros in total, and that means that every one of the 5 parties would contribute 240, just as a well, way of measuring. And then of course, like I said, doesn't need, well, you get the idea. Who wants to steal this idea? That's the question. Yeah, so if you want to write, if you want to contribute in another way, and especially the management part, the administration part, I think it's a good idea if if a pirate party that has a good organizational background right now does the central, well, the distribution part, the printing part, and make sure, well, like that part. I myself, I can write, as I shown. I can edit also. So yeah, whoever wants to join, that's a good thing. And then, well, let me know, and then we can work on this. Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's room for questions. if there are any questions, there is room for questions. Are there questions? Nope. Okay, thank you very much.